In this video, we'll explore the Van Halen Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction debacle. There have been others who had decided in the past to not show up, such as Axl Rose, David Bowie, and Roger Waters, but this one is one of the most notable instances of absence in the history of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The year was 2007, and the anticipation was high for their induction. However, what ensued was a series of partial no-shows and controversies that left a lasting mark on the ceremony. Let's delve into the full story. To give you a little bit of background, in 2007, amidst the induction of several iconic acts like R.E.M., Patti Smith, and Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Van Halen was set to join the prestigious ranks of rock royalty. The spotlight was on both the David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar eras of the band. However, tensions had already brewed within the group, with Sammy Hagar's departure in 2004 and Michael Anthony's exit in 2006, replaced by Eddie Van Halen's son, Wolfgang. Inducting Van Halen that evening was the supergroup Velvet Revolver, who had been asked to perform this duty for the second time in 2 years, following their failed attempt with the Sex Pistols in 2006. The irony of the Sex Pistols filling in with Velvet Revolver is that they were a no-show. They made it clear to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame they weren't fond of the organization and wanted no business of it. Now fast forward to the no-show and what took place. Similar to the Sex Pistols' defiance the year prior, Van Halen's attendance at the ceremony was marked by absence. None of the band members showed up except for Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony. Even Gary Cherone, the band's third singer, was excluded from the induction, citing his limited contribution to the band's legendary status. Sammy had his thoughts on this, as well as he was quoted saying, "I got nothing against Gary, but I would have voted against him getting in. Dave Lee Roth and I were in the band for so long, and we sold so many records. I don't think you can deny that. As it stands, it seems a little goofy if you let Gary in, because there was questions about me getting in, because I've only been in the band 21 years. It was expected that everyone was to show up to this from the band in attendance. A table was even reserved. The lead up to the ceremony was riddled with complications, though. Guitarist Eddie Van Halen announced his entry into rehab just days before the event, throwing plans into disarray. Despite the announcement of a Van Halen reunion with David Lee Roth, Eddie's rehab stint forced him to skip the induction. His brother Alex stood by him in support. Disputes further marred the event, particularly between David Lee Roth and Velvet Revolver. Roth's insistence on singing Jump clashed with the band's preferences, leading to his withdrawal from the ceremony. The Rock Hall extended various opportunities for Roth to participate, all of which were declined. Later on, singer Scott Weiland from Velvet Revolver would be quoted as saying, "We were asked to perform. Kind of what happened was David Lee Roth wanted to sing the song Jump. We felt from an artistic standpoint, and I'm being totally honest with you, that it wasn't a song we felt comfortable with. We don't have keyboards. To bring a keyboard on stage wouldn't work for us. We said we'd do Jamie's Crying or You Really Got Me, and he was adamant that that wasn't okay." Now getting to the fallout, Velvet Revolver, tasked with covering Van Halen's hits, faced criticism for their performance. Those two songs were Ain't Talking About Love and Runaround. Sammy Hagar, in particular, condemned Roth's behavior in the lead-up to the event, citing his interference and attempts to control the proceedings. Hagar's sentiments echoed a sentiment shared by many. The induction had become a debacle, foreshadowing the eventual breakup of Velvet Revolver a year later. The chaos surrounding Van Halen's induction would later be paralleled by Guns N' Roses' ceremony in 2012, with Axl Rose's conspicuous absence. Reflecting on the tumultuous events, Slash from Guns N' Roses described Van Halen's induction as a nightmare. Despite the challenges, he expressed gratitude for his own band's induction experience, which turned out to be a positive and fulfilling moment. So, what is the legacy left behind in the wake of the mess? Well, the turbulent induction ceremony remains a significant chapter in Van Halen's legacy. Their absence, coupled with the discord among involved parties, highlighted the complexities within the band and the broader rock community. Eddie Van Halen's passing in 2020 marked the end of an era, with his son Wolfgang affirming that Van Halen could not continue without him. In hindsight, the induction debacle serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility and intricacies of rock music's history, showcasing both its highs and lows. So to sum it up, it was widely anticipated that this was going to be disappointing, knowing the background of drama with the band up to that point. However, what unfolded surpassed mere disappointment, marking it as one of the most humiliating episodes in the band's history, and arguably the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's worst induction ceremony. Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony, though present to accept their awards, seemed ill at ease on stage without the presence of Edward, Alex, and Dave. Despite their efforts to maintain composure and grace, their discomfort was palpable, casting a shadow over the event for fans who keenly felt their unease. Velvet Revolver's tribute to the band lacked sincerity and effort. Their introductory speech appeared hastily constructed, devoid of genuine emotion or reverence, leaving a disheartening impression on those witnessing the lackluster homage. But at the end of the day, how do you think the induction should have gone? What would you have expected the band to do? Let us know.